Hi, I'm Wendi Thomas. I'm the state representative for the 178th, and I'm here this morning with Rebecca Oyler from the National Federation of Independent Business, commonly known as NFIB, and that organization advocates and discusses legislation that affects small businesses, both around the state and nationally. She actually grew up with a family small business, Main Street business, and she's here today to talk to us about some legislation that impacts small business in Pennsylvania. Good morning.
Thank you, Representative Thomas. I'm happy to talk about small businesses in Pennsylvania. Like you said, I'm excited about small businesses, having grown up in one, and I understand the value they bring to local communities and to our economy. There are 1 million small businesses in the state, and in fact, it's 99.6% of businesses in the state are small. So we all know them. We drive past them every day. We visit them, on a daily basis. They're part of our local communities, and they hire our neighbors and our friends, and they're really a big part of our community and mean a lot to Pennsylvania. So I'm really happy to advocate on behalf of them.
That sounds great. So there have been a few bills that have come up in Pennsylvania, and I think the goal is to level the playing field as far as states go. Maybe you could tell us about House Bill 105 to start with.
Sure. House Bill 105 corrects an issue which small businesses deal with in Pennsylvania. We are the only state in the whole country that doesn't allow for like-kind exchanges. Like-kind exchanges are when a business can exchange property for similar property without having to take a tax liability. We're the only state that doesn't allow it. It's provided for corporations and it's provided by the federal government, but not in Pennsylvania. So for example, if a business wants to expand and they need a piece of property, they may have a piece of property but it's not zoned correctly. They could trade it for a piece of property that has a commercial zoning, and if the two properties were of similar value, then there would be no tax liability. So that would help businesses expand. It would help create jobs if we could incentivize our businesses to expand like that. So
it seems to make a lot of sense. In fact, we did a property exchange between a school district and municipality because each had what the other needed about the same. So it certainly seems like small business should be able to do that to help, grow their business. So
absolutely, and I should mention that Small Business Optimism, my organization at the national level, does Small Business Optimism Index, and Small Business Optimism is at record high levels right now. We've been doing the survey for over 40 years, and the optimism is really high. Businesses are looking to put money into their business right now, to expand, to hire people, and in fact, some of the areas that are expanding most are in construction and manufacturing. So as you can imagine, manufacturers may need a piece of property or to expand their business and grow and create jobs, and that's what we want to incentivize. Yeah,
that's great. There was also House Bill 1603, and I think that was really around startup businesses and allowing them to reduce their tax liability as they get started. They might have some losses. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes, that bill would provide for net operating losses so that a business, if it has a loss in any particular year, could take that loss against future tax liability. So it really helps businesses that are just starting out and they're not quite in the profitable range. They're just trying to get into that profitable area, or businesses that have cyclical business. So for instance, maybe a outdoor recreation provider, and we know we've had a lot of rain lately in the state, so they may have a down year and may not quite have made the ends meet last year. So this bill would allow them to take that loss that they had against their future tax liability, so it would give them more money to invest in their business. We'd really like to see that too, because it's already provided for corporate taxpayers, and it's also provided by federal law. So we'd like to see the small businesses access it in the state as well.
It sounds like here in Pennsylvania we need to match what other states or the federal law is already doing, because we want our small business owners to have the same opportunity as everyone else, and we certainly want to grow small business here in Pennsylvania.
Absolutely.
The last bill in this package, House Bill 333, deals with the cost of equipment for small business. Can you talk about that?
Yes, House Bill 333 would allow Section 179 expensing up to the federal limit. So it's a little confusing, but the federal tax bill actually expanded let me back up a second. Section 179 allows businesses to deduct the cost of big purchases,
Like a piece of equipment,
machinery, that sort of thing. So they can deduct it in the first year when they purchase it. The federal tax bill that just passed a few years ago increased the maximum limit on that expensing to $1 million.
Okay.
But in Pennsylvania, that expensing limit is only $25,000, which is extremely limiting when you're talking about a large piece of equipment or machinery that a business might need to expand. I like to give the example of a farm. As you know, the General Assembly's been doing some farm bills, trying to encourage farm development and help new farmers out. Well, a combine actually costs around $300,000. So under the federal tax law, you could deduct that combine in the first year that you purchase it, but under state tax law, you could only deduct $25,000 of it. So it really is limiting, and it's disincentivizing businesses from expanding and creating new opportunities for themselves.
I actually visited a small business that was making forklifts, hydro-powered.
Great.
Very, very exciting business. And the equipment in their factory, I'm sure, cost much more than $25,000.
Yeah.
It sounds like an old amount from when the legislation was passed. It probably seemed like a big number.
That's
and
right,
we need to update it here in Pennsylvania.
Yes, absolutely. It's very limiting. So we would love to see these bills pass. It would give a little bit of parity to small businesses so that they can put the investment in their businesses to try to get ahead. So we'd love to see these bills get some traction here.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being with me today. I wanted to make sure you had a little bit of information on what I'm doing in Harrisburg. I'm a co-sponsor on all three of these bills.
Thank you.
And I look to support small business and their growth in Pennsylvania. Thank you.